from Politico. Kamala Harris, Gen Z meme queen. After she announced her 2024 bid, Indian aunties took to social media to post in Sanskrit, Kamala equals lotus. In America, Kamala equals POTUS. Yeah.
And what is it in Finnish,
I had a hard
Swedish or Finnish? What is it?
We'll get to it. We'll get to that. I had a hard enough time talking about Joe Biden. You know, it's like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Well, there's a fun thing to talk about. Hillary Clinton's so awful, and she's so well known. And Joe Biden is just sitting there going, and that's why I'm gonna not run. And you're like, okay, he's falling asleep here. Yeah. Kamala, I can't believe they're actually trying to go with the narrative that those cringe green filtered dancing videos of her laughing maniacally work for Gen Z. Because I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Gen Z's a little bit more based than that. Like, I'm not saying they're voting for Trump. It's just like, I don't think they're watching Kamala Harris do that weird shuffle dance with the green filter, and they're like, this is cool.
I guarantee my Gen Z kids are watching that going, oh, cringe.
Yeah.
They don't think it's cool.
No, it's not cool. It's never cool to have like an older adult person.
Oh, look at the lady in the pantsuit shuffling. It's like,
no, it's not cool. They're like, oh, it's all a reference to pop music. No, it's just a...
No, this one's crazy. Check this out.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
So apparently, I don't know if this is true, but referring to a person who fell out of the coconut tree was a racial slur.
Yeah, about
in Europe.
African monkeys, basically.
It was like somebody was posting that in Eastern Europe, they say that person fell out of a coconut tree is a racial slur for a black person.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And her mom obviously had that in her. Well, maybe not maliciously, but that's what she's doing. It's a crazy joke or thing to say. At least she's being honest. I'm sure her mom did say that.
But
we just call them palm trees.
Just the way that she talks and her weird, her weird cadence. It's like, do you really think Gen Z kids are watching this and be like, she's so cool?
Mm-hmm.
So
she's so hip and cool.
You don't think they're all looking at her and going, we need Mamala right now? Because how many times I've heard that story this
Mamala?
week.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
It's gross. It's weird. I don't think they're going to buy it. And that's the thing. Like, her whole campaign is run by probably Gen Z staffers, millennial staffers who are like, this is my shot to get a White House position. And we're going to message this way, even though it's not actually working.
I want to pull up Google Translate for you real quick. And they say in Sanskrit, Kamala means lotus. I'm going to type the word Kamala right here into Finnish. Oh, it says horrible. It means horrible in Finnish. And
Six Hexenheimer pointing that out.
I agree. Yeah, Kamala means horrible in Finnish. So I have this idea that, I was saying for a while now, Hillary Clinton also did the cackling fiend thing, and Kamala does the same thing. And I think that there's some political consultant being like, we've gone over the data, you have to laugh all the time. And I'm just like, I think that shows that if that's true, that's what you think, women are not going to be president. Because the example that I give is having worked in activism fundraising, working for groups that were working for environmental causes. I did fundraising for the Human Rights Campaign. That's they do all the gay rights stuff. Very different back when I was doing it. We were basically just like, hey, gay marriage, and that was it. And today it's a whole lot of other stuff. In fact, this is a really fascinating talking point. The HRC was at the time, this is back in 2010 maybe, was at odds with most leftist gay rights groups because they did not support trans rights. They said that it's a step too far, it'll never get approved, so they were working on other things. But I digress. The one thing I can tell you doing these campaigns, men who are tall and with deep voices raise a lot of money. Yep. Women who had large breasts raise a lot of money. I'm not trying to be crude or crass. It's just true. A woman would go out, she has large boobs, she'd come back and be like, look at all the people who gave me money. A guy would come back, he's 6'3", be like, I just got a bunch of people to sign up. Short guys succeeded only when they were slick, fast talkers with, fast hand sales guys. But usually they would not succeed. They would not do very well. And it's fairly obvious why humans react in this way. Tall guys are commanding. And I knew this one guy who was like 6'3", and he was not very bright. I'm not trying to be mean to him, but he was a slow guy. He talked like this. And he would do ridiculously well fundraising. So I got asked by the bosses, can you go out with him and see how he's doing this? Because it doesn't seem to make sense in the numbers wise. And he just stands there. And then someone's walking by and goes, hey, come here. And they go, yeah. And he goes, so we're going to save the world together, all right? Here's what you're going to do. And I'm like, wait, what? You're literally just telling them to do it and they do? I'm like, that's crazy. He's like, it's pretty easy. I'm like, that's crazy. I think the issue with Kamala Harris, the reason why she's cackling like this and why Hillary Clinton did is because if you look at the example of AOC running up on stage and fist pumping and screaming like, we're going to win. I'm sorry, but it's a higher pitched voice that's raspy. And I do think that in humans, there is something about a roar, right? A guy with a deeper voice. I'm not saying Trump has this, but Trump has other characteristics. So I think they tell these women, if you try and be aggressive, it doesn't come off as strong. It comes off as naggy, right?
Itchy and naggy.
Whereas a guy who says, listen, I'm going to tell you, you're like, oh, wow, this is a guy, he's
Pay
woof.
attention.
But when a woman does, you're like, oh, I'm getting nagged. And I think, and the left agrees with me. I know they do because it's called inherent sexism.
What's the inherent sexism? The whole concept?
The idea that humans are predisposed to find louder, deeper voices as commanding and higher pitched voices as
reasonable. The larger, stronger man's going to hunt the meat for you and feed your family if you're in his tribe. You know,
why lions roar.
He's the commander. Also, she's laughing at her own jokes, which no comedian should do. It's obnoxious and shows low self-esteem.
Sometimes, right? A comedian who is telling a joke and then hits it, like Dave Chappelle does this, and then everyone starts laughing, and then he smiles and he looks and starts laughing too. But it's done with proper timing.
Yeah, laughing along with
it's like
someone.
They crack. It's like they break because they're trying to hold it together, but it's so funny they kind of break. That's kind of endearing. This is not endearing.
She laughs at everything.
Yeah, but she laughs when other people aren't laughing, which is where it's really obnoxious.
She needs to know when to laugh, so she's leading them, you know?
And like if a comedian did that, they'd be booed off the stage.
It's just, there was one moment, I can't remember exactly what was asked, but she was like walking outside and a reporter asked her a question and started laughing. And I was like, what?
It's nervous.
She's
nervous.
No, someone
Terrible.
told her, you have to laugh because you cannot be aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but why did Hillary Clinton do the same thing?
I want to get her staff in here, man.
You know what it is? If you Google the picture of women laughing while eating salads, there's the thing where
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, where women, anytime they're doing health, like, oh, eat the salad, it's healthier. They're using this image of a woman eating a salad to promote vitamins or healthcare or something. It's like, they're all like, you know, they're like, oh my God, like it's so
laughing,
hilarious.
having
Look
a
at
good
salad. The salad is so hilarious and fun.
I want to see angry women eating salads. I want them just like, it doesn't taste good. I want pizza.
I think if they're like smiley and they're laughing, that works or something. Like there's probably a marketing agency that's like, I saw the ladies with the salad. You know, you should go up there and laugh and smile, and everyone's gonna love
I
it.
think they do focus groups.
Yeah.
So there's one interesting thing when they did that gender swap of Trump and Hillary, because a lot of the Democrats were like, the reason Trump did better in the debates is because he's a man and people are sexist. And I think that's true to a certain extent. However, when they hosted the same debate, scripted, they wrote transcripts and had actors read them and perform it perfectly, people who did not see the debate still sided with Trump as a woman. But you have to understand what about the debate works better than just being a man or woman. It's that Trump as a character, you have this smarmy, when they gender swapped it, you have this guy wearing a suit with glasses, and he's talking like this. Listen, we're going to do what the American people need. And then the woman goes, no, listen to me. The American people do not need you telling them what to do. What the American people need are jobs, and it's your policies. And everyone said, I like the woman. Because Hillary Clinton came off as smarmy, elitist, because, well, she's smarmy and elitist. And so is Kamala Harris.
Nobody wants the HR manager lady that everyone dreads dealing with to be the president. Nobody wants that. But that's what, I mean, Kamala Harris comes off that way to me.
Oh, here, let's go through the memes. Here we go. Climbing the coconut tree. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. You know what I love about her? She talks the way these like woke leftist academics write. Instead of just saying like, you exist in a context of everything that came before you, she in all in which you live and came. Calm down, lady. We get the point. Ironically, this is Kamala Harris's quote from last May, went viral because it was taken out of context and presented as sort of an absurd statement. Blast from the past. Compilations have also emerged to represent Harris' most memeable moments, including her love of good news and yellow school buses. Live from New York.
Like she sees her campaign bus and she's like, the wheels on the bus go round and round. And like, it's so.
Kamala is Brett. You know, that
That
I
means
don't know
she's
what
cool.
that means.
It's supposed to mean like cool,
Yeah.
like she is having like a fun, cool girl summer. She's off having the time of her life or whatever.
What's like-
It's
what's-
a reference to Charlie XCX album.
Oh, yeah.
the
What's
fact
a-
that
what's
they
a-
get pop singers to line it behind her?
Well, it's because it's the green background with the black text saying Brat for the album, and then Kamala did that for Kamala HQ because they're like, we're hip. I wonder if we can make up a word that it's like a made up word, but it sounds like it's dirty, and then we'll just call Kamala that.
I mean,
Flurge.
I just don't think you can make Kamala Harris cool, right? And I think that this is what's kind of weird. Like you were saying, your daughters would be like, "This is cringe."
They would. They would.
Some of what's interesting to me about Gen Z slang is it's really organic, but also you kind of have to be in the know. Like to
Yeah.
track how they get to the words that they're using, it's like several references deep on TikTok, right?
Oh yeah, like my 12-year-old, I'm trying to like keep up with her, and she just laughs at me all the time. I'll be like, I got that skibbity toilet riz, right? And she's like, no.
Yeah. And so
No.
to be
Then
like,
she just laughs.
and to be
She's
like, we're
"What are you
gonna
doing?"
drop this lady politician in here, and you guys are gonna like her. Like that seems the opposite of what they would do.
Look at her. Look how fun she is. Look how much fun
Oh,
she's
God.
having.
I mean-
Don't you want a fun girl
At
president?
least she
I
likes
wanna-
art.
No, you know what we need to do? Can we plug this into AI where she's like laughing and dancing, and then she turns over and presses a button, and a rocket fires and blows up a wedding?
They're trying to make her sexy because they can't make her cool. They're using AI to generate her
She's
with a
always
sexy
in those
body.
Converse All Stars too. Every dancing video I've seen, they're like, put her in the chucks.
If they can make
No,
her
it's
sexy,
relatable to
Cool.
the kids.
they're
Yeah.
going to get the horny young guys to vote for her. That's what they're aiming at right now. You watch the AI generated
see it.
Kamala with
I don't
sexy
see the
body.
beige.
No, I'm not searching
It's
that.
disgusting. No, don't hold up. Just keep your eyes open for when you. I just saw it yesterday. One of my friends, guy that I am a friend of on Facebook, who I haven't talked to in 15 years, posted it, and it was just like disgusting, like media manipulation using deep fakes to sell your candidate kind of crap.
I wouldn't call Trump Brat. I would just say Trump's funny.
Well, I mean,
funny
people
guy.
refer to Trump as base, right? And that's like a compliment that came out of his supporters that they use for other things. Like they're trying to drop Kamala Harris into pop culture as it exists right now because she doesn't have any organic movement behind her. People aren't looking at her and being like, "Oh yeah, you really inspire me. You're interesting." Like basically they don't know anything about her other than her terrible record, or at least her controversial record as a prosecutor, and then her time with the Biden administration, which again, she has not really, we're only like 3 full days into her campaign. We don't know if she's going to be like, I'm finishing what Joe started, or if she's going to be like, Joe had some missteps and start to distance herself, Like it's.
I don't feel like that would be safe. I feel like that would be really risky to do. But the whole thing is risky to do. Taking him out at the last second and popping her in 3 months before the election is wild to me.
So the repeal the 19th was trending on X, and I think it was because of Claire Lehman, who we haven't talked about in a long time. She has me blocked on X. Scott Greer, 6'2", and IQ 187, thank you, Scott, tweets, "Let's check on how women decide who they want to vote." And Claire Lehman said, "I know it's superficial, but I like that Kamala can dance and that she looks incredible for her age. She looks like the kind of person you'd like to have a margarita or two with."
I retweeted that tweet too, and I said, this is everything you need to know about the woman problem in one little tweet. Like everything about it. I know it's superficial. This is how women vote. I know it's superficial.
Well, Trudeau was a hunk,
Yeah.
and
But
Obama's a
I'm going to
celebrity.
do it anyway. But I like that Kamala can dance. Who cares? What does that have to do with anything when you're the leader of the free world? And that she looks incredible for her age.
Well, is it perhaps that maybe we can negotiate an end to the hostilities in Ukraine by a dance-off?
That is a potential.
Well, then we're
only
good.
If they have Mexican foods. And
I don't know.
margaritas.
Trump's still a better dancer.
Yeah.
We've all saw
Oh,
Trump do
Trump's
that
such a
weird
bad
stiff
dancer.
shuffle
I would
thing.
love for him to be a good dancer.
No, that is a great
We need
dance.
to get him some moves.
It's not-
man.
it's like-
But it's like a signature thing. Like again, Trump creates his own hype and culture around him. Kamala Harris has given us nothing, and that's
Okay.
why they have to borrow from everywhere else.
But importantly, a lot of the claiming Trump is a good dancer is ironic. It's
Yeah.
clearly not a good dance, but he
Right.
doesn't care. He's like, he just does whatever he wants, and he's on stage and he's got that face and he's doing
Yeah.
this thing, and everyone, right? It's like, the guy is funny
It's
and doesn't
endearing.
care.
It's
yeah.
endearing.
Kamala is trying to do that, but it's just not.
She's like a party girl, man. I think did she actually
Yes,
sleep
she
her way
is-
to the
she is a
top?
party
Did
girl.
she?
I
Did
don't
she?
know about
what was
that.
that guy Brown? Some guy in
Willie
California,
Brown.
Willie Brown. Did she hook up with him? Is that like confirmed? Is that just people say it
they
for
had a
fun?
relationship.
They had a relationship, and then what did he hire her? Did he promote her or something?
Yeah. And she was like way younger. He was like in his 60s and she was really young.
So she hooked up with some guy who then promoted her, hired her into a government position, and she's just dancing and like laughing and like, I don't see leadership material in the woman. But they put her in as the vice president because she was black. She's not even black. I hate that term, but like because of her dark skin, her darker
She's
skin
not
tone.
white and she's a woman.
Yeah.
That's what
Bronze
matters.
She's
skin.
like
Yeah.
Jamaican and Indian, right? That's her
Yeah.
heritage. I mean, I think that this is the futility of trying to capture the logic there, right? Like, she just was there when whatever happens. They force fight it out. He decided to leave. The Democratic Party broke up, and she is the only one they have kind of standing. One of the problems has always been that there's no talent coming down the Democratic bench, at least not in the same way that conservatives are really kind of establishing themselves going forward. And so, I understand why this person is like, it's superficial, but I like Kamala because like, she just picks whatever's popular. A lot of women do that. Whatever is trendy, they're going to go with. And currently, they're trying to force this trend of Kamala Harris. She's not critically thinking about it.
Claire was like an educated, like a smart person.
Is she? I don't know.
She runs Quillette, or she's
Yeah.
like the editor-in-chief of Quillette or
Yeah.
something, which is was supposedly a good magazine that I heard.
No, it was free speech. It was classically liberal until Australia decided to start rounding up natives and putting them in concentration
And
camps.
she valued her country over reality.
No, she
over like
feared being locked up in a concentration camp more than she cared about espousing her principles. And so I get it. You're in a country that is having vans pull up to people's homes. Like there's a viral video where a van pulls up to a guy's house. And they're like, excuse me, sir. And he's like, what's the problem? And they're like, time to go into the van because you've tested positive for COVID. And he's like, okay. And then he was just gone. And they're like, neighbors haven't seen him since. So she's like, this is good. And everything is fine. And Australia is good. And then you have like these three Aboriginal teens get taken by force to a camp, throw like a burlap sack or something over the barbed wire, jump the fence and run and flee. And there was a manhunt to track them down. Like that's what Australia was doing. And she was like, this is fine. This is good. And I'm like,
the only
okay.
thing I know of her is when many years ago, probably like 2015 or something, when Jordan Peterson was kind of promoting her in Quillette because he thought she was like brave and special and all that. But now she's just doing I don't want the whole like, oh my gosh, we can have margaritas, so I'm going to vote for her. Yeah, that sounds like a great strategy to pick the leader of the free world when we have 2 theaters of war, inflation that's like
And I
approaching Weimar.
But so-
I find that more interesting that they can't say that about her, right? Like they're falling back on like she's dancing and she has a fun
Yeah,
name that
is
rhymes
that-
with like
there's
whatever.
no good reason?
Actually, no one can look at Kamala Harris and be
Right.
like, I really think that she would be able to defend us. Like they're falling back on this like astroturf personality they've created for her because as far as we know, she actually wouldn't be able to handle the presidency because she couldn't even get elected in the first place. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.